gave up a 5-0 lead against the Giants yesterday. Game 4 will get going here at 12:45 with Dylan Cease on the mound. And the NBA Finals getting going at 5:30 tonight. Game 1 in Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City is 9.5-point favorites over the Indiana Pacers. The point total is set at 230.5. The Thunder are currently a -750 to win the series. On WhatsApp, your personal messages stay private. So things like those selfies between last weekend's party stay between you and your bestie, because on WhatsApp, your personal messages are yours. No one else can see or hear them, not even them. WhatsApp, message privately with everyone.
And let's get it going here on a Thursday. Welcome in, everybody. Good afternoon. It is San Diego Sports 760. My name is Ben Fletcher. That is Sammy Long. This is San Diego Sports 760, and we are damn glad to have you here. Padres did give up a 5-0 run last night to lose 6-5, kind of worsening that feeling, that taste in our mouths that we've had during the first 2 games of this Giants series, where it seemed like the Padres couldn't lose, because even if they got in bad holes, bad situations, they would find a way in the end. Last night, I thought they did, man. Luis Arraez hit that absolute bullet out to Triples Alley up there at whatever the name of that ballpark is now. Used to be Pac Bell Park, but into Triples Alley, where Gavin Sheets had a triple earlier in the night, and the right fielder for the Giants makes an excellent play, thwarting a comeback attempt for the Padres once again. So it was not to be a night ago, and it's disappointing, sure, but I'll tell you what, Fernando looks like he's making his way back into prominence. A couple hits last night. He also had one robbed out in Triples Alley. Otherwise, it would have been a huge night for Fernando. But Gavin Sheets, just throw 4 more ribbies on his total for the season. The best hitter maybe in the world. I don't know. Are we looking at a Gavin Sheets all-star season for the Padres? Feels like that's something that could be happening here. But it was a rough night for the Padres, who do fall 6-5 to the Giants. They play again today. Sammy, is it at 12:45 or 1:10?
It's 12:45, I believe.
So we're going to do a little pregame interview with the coach, Coach Kentera, who's jumping on at 12:30 today instead of 1:30, because we didn't want him on while the Padres were in progress. So if you're here, good for you, man. You're going to hear from the coach coming up at 12:30. NBA Finals get going tonight. NHL Stanley Cup Final. Had themselves a hockey game last night. That stuff was insane. And maybe the most important news of the day, Sammy picked a long shots winner last night.
Yes, sir.
You want to take your little victory lap?
Oh, it was beautiful. So I just want to pull up some receipts. We had some listeners yesterday calling it wrong shots.
Thank God for overtime.
People were exactly. And I told you yesterday about the fact that the possibility of overtime is always there with hockey. Big victory for the boys. Had everyone tweeting it out that how much did you win, Fletch?
I think $160.
Okay. So
because I flex played it.
Yeah. Well, shows you don't have a lot of faith. That's okay. Yeah, we're on a streak. I mean, we hit one last week. We hit one yesterday. I mean, I don't know. At some point, PrizePicks is going to start calling and going, you guys can't do this bit anymore because you're going to make us go bankrupt.
After one win, maybe they'll do that. Yeah. So if you want to download PrizePicks, by the way, play along with long shots today. See if we really are streaking heading into the weekend. Download the PrizePicks app. Use promo code Fletch. Get yourself a $50 bonus. We will give you the $5 entry to qualify for that $50 bonus coming up at 12:45. Another. We needed that. I felt like that was right.
I didn't have the fader on, so I had to find it while Fletch was talking.
Sammy, his birthday is a week from tomorrow, and he's very excited about his birthday. He wants everyone to know about it.
I'm not excited about my birthday.
Oh, no, you're pumped about it. You're going to Vegas.
I'm excited to go to Vegas.
You're throwing yourself a birthday party in Vegas.
No, that's not how that's going.
I think that's how it's going, isn't it?
No, it happens to be my birthday, and we're going to Vegas. Because all the boys were already going to Vegas.
It's okay if you want to go to Vegas for your birthday. You could just say you planned a Vegas trip for your birthday.
But I didn't, though. There's other people whose actually 21st birthday it is, and it just happens to be my birthday on the same day.
Dude, you're hanging out with a bunch of 21-year-olds in Vegas. Oh, it's crazy.
No, all my boys are 23, 24, 25. I'm not getting into this whole thing right here, okay?
Well, we're going to go a little further into it because there was a direct quote from Sammy Long about 10 minutes before we got on the air that I do feel like needs to come to the air. Quote, "Bro, I dropped $500 on club shirts for Vegas."
First off, I didn't say it like that.
Dude, exactly like that. 1,000%. Maybe a little faster with a little more pace, but you said, "Bro, I dropped $500 on club shirts for Vegas." I promise you that is a direct quote.
Okay, so my there's a bunch of people going. So my friend doesn't have any style.
Can you translate that though? I dropped $500 on club shirts for Vegas. Like what exactly does that mean?
I bought $500 worth of clothes.
$500 worth of shirts to go clubbing in Vegas with.
No, 2 shirts and 2 pants. Travis Mayhew and Built.
Dude, shop at Walmart. Way easier.
First off, you don't go to the club shopping at Walmart. Walmart's to wear to work and around town.
This shirt's Walmart. This is a great shirt.
When was the last time you were in a club? Exactly.
It's been a minute.
So you don't go to Walmart and show up. You're gonna get kicked out.
That shirt you're wearing right now, I can find at Walmart easy for $15.
How do you know this shirt wasn't bought?
It might be, but I'm assuming your shirts that you bought that you spent $550 on.
My friend has no style, and he was like, I need help with this. I need an outfit. So he wanted to go to UTC on Saturday. So we went, a couple of us, and then we saw some stuff we liked.
I hope it works out for you, Sammy. I hope that you win $500 immediately when you get to Vegas. That pays for your outfits. Well,
that's already going to happen.
I hope that you don't end up spending $100 just to get into the club and then spending $25 on drinks for you and the ladies that you're trying to woo. I hope that it all works out for you.
This is why you're not going, because that's such a negative mindset. Like, that's not what you think when you're going into Vegas.
What do you think? Like, oh, Vegas ain't ready for me?
No,
Vegas ain't ready for us?
It's fun. We're going for the weekend.
How many guys are going?
I think like 15.
Vegas isn't ready for you guys. Not 15. One bit. Vegas, you guys are going to take it for all it's worth. That's what's coming up. So if you'd like to react to Sammy spending $550 on club shirts, text line's open today, 70470. Start your message with team. But right now it is important we get to the top stories in the world of sports. Sammy Long, smash that button.
Your lunch break is here.
550 is crazy, dude.
And knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. Top three.
It is the big three. If you'd like to watch the show today, you can stream us on YouTube at San Diego Sports 760, on X at Fletch and Sammy. Find us there. We had some DMs last night when Sammy won, and everyone was like,
because everyone was rocking with it.
Oh my God, it actually happened.
No. Shout out to the people that were rocking with it. People that are calling us wrong shots on this stuff. I'm sorry, you didn't cash last night.
But Sammy did. I did.
By the way, real quickly, back to shirts. You need to go to the mall and upgrade your outfit.
This is a cool shirt, dude. It's got toucans on it.
This is like your nicest outfit, and it's a golf shirt that's been worn about 200 times.
This is like my third time wearing it. I got.
Do you need help? Do you need someone to go to the mall with and shop?
Walmart, $15 shirt. Actually, these shorts are also Walmart, and they were about $17 khaki.
See, it would be a nice outfit, except you ruin it with the hat.
No, this is a great hat. This is a Bob Does Sport hat.
Oh my Lord. Comment on Fletch's wardrobe, please.
Have a day.
Needs to change.
Have a day is a great way to think about life.
70470. Start messing with team. Okay, big three stories of the day, Fletch. All right, Terry McLaurin reportedly unhappy with no long-term extension in training camp right now. Heading in, is Deebo Samuel ready to be the number one if Terry McLaurin does not go?
Terry McLaurin needs that new contract because he needs to buy some new club shirts to go to Vegas with Sammy and the boys. He needs that $550. God, and pretty soon, Sammy, I swear to God, he's going to come in with like a diamond necklace on. Be like, it's for the clubs, bro. You know me. Look, Terry McLaurin shouldn't be happy with no long-term extension. We're seeing guys get paid who I don't think are as good as Terry McLaurin. One just came down today. Who was it?
Rashad Bateman got a 3-year, $36.5 million contract.
20 of it guaranteed. That's kind of crazy that Rashad Bateman, who has not had the level of success that Terry McLaurin has had so far in the NFL, is getting a contract before him. Now, I don't know what the number is going to look like for Terry McLaurin, but we see this every single year. There's a wide receiver who is a year away from being eligible for the new contract or eligible for free agency, who comes in saying, hey, man, I need a 3-year extension now. Otherwise, you're going to lose me for this year. The Commanders will cave. It's going to happen. And maybe he misses a game or two.
Yeah, they need to get Terry McLaurin signed. Terry McLaurin, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated receivers in the league. We saw what he did against the Detroit team. He's been great for years. The problem is that the Commanders were awful before Jaden Daniels, so he's kind of just wasting away down there. He is a number one receiver. He's disproved people because of his size. That was kind of a big thing coming out, and they need to get that done. Deebo certainly was kind of past his prime last year with the Niners. You could see the fall off when he demanded targets, and then he had that game where he only caught like 3 passes. They targeted him like 15 times. I mean, Deebo as a number 2 is going to be excellent, but I don't know as a number 1 option that's very feasible. Another big storyline out of OTAs. Sam Darnold has reportedly been awful in OTAs. He's been throwing picks all over the yard. Head coach reiterated that he is going to be the starting quarterback. Where would you rank Sam Darnold in this year in terms of where would you place him in terms of all the quarterbacks in the league?
He's somewhere around Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins, maybe just below them, I would think. Now, Sam Darnold, this is a big test for him. So he was with Kyle Shanahan, extremely offensive guy, right? Sitting behind Brock Purdy. He was with Kevin O'Connell, one of the bright young offensive minds in football. And now he's going to Mike Macdonald. Mike Macdonald, defensive-minded head coach with the Seattle Seahawks. It's going to be a test. This is when we find out if Sam Darnold was just coached really well or if Sam Darnold was the guy. It might be a little rough for Sam this year. I've seen the reports coming out of OTAs. You know how I feel about OTA reports. I think they're absolute crap. The team knows a lot more than the video camera guy on the sideline filming a couple of interceptions. It's like spring training pitchers. They're working on stuff. It's different. The synchronization is not there yet with the players. If we see Sam Darnold really struggle in preseason, I think that's when the red flag starts to go up a little bit. But I wouldn't worry about him yet.
It's funny how we went from Sam Darnold being like a really good quarterback last year, leading the team to 14 wins, and then with two performances, the one against Detroit and the one against the Rams, and now all of a sudden we're hearing this OTA stuff. It's like everyone's out on Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold can still be very good. This guy has dealt with ineptitude besides the Vikings. He got drafted to the Jets, who have been horrible. And then, the Niners. Well, the Niners could have used him. Can you imagine if the Niners had him instead of Brock Purdy right now? But the Jets, completely terrible organization. He started 3-0 against Carolina when Christian McCaffrey was there. McCaffrey gets hurt, that season tanks. So I don't know why we're so quick to just go out on Sam Darnold because of two bad performances. There's a lot of other quarterbacks that have had two bad performances. I think he could be a really good quarterback this year in Seattle. Could be a little bit of a sleeper team out of the NFC West.
He was right up there in MVP conversations in week 14.
Right, and it's like a couple games, and all of a sudden he sucks, and people are just...
He lost himself probably $50-60 million with those two games. That's brutal.
NBA Finals get going tonight at 5 o'clock. Currently, Oklahoma City is a 9.5-point favorite. What matchup within the series are you most excited to watch?
The Stars. Give me the Stars. I need Halliburton to perform. I need Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to perform. I want the playoff merchant stigma to go away. Let's see these guys actually play basketball. Let this be physical. Let this be tough, like the good parts of this postseason have been. I tell you, like the Houston Rockets and the Minnesota Timberwolves were the two most fun teams for me to watch this postseason. And the Pacers, I throw them in there too. They play physical, tough basketball. OKC does as well. And for a long time, the rest were letting it go. And then something in the conference finals, it shifted a little bit. It got a little bit softer. So let's see some contact happen tonight and not just bail out Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. But those are the two guys I'm watching.
I'm excited for the matchup between Lou Dort and Tyrese Halliburton.
I do like Lou Dort a lot.
Tyrese Halliburton, over the last two seasons against Oklahoma City, has only averaged 12 points a game, and he's taken less shots than he normally does against Lou Dort. Lou Dort's one of the premier defenders in the entire league. And then on the other side, you have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander going to be guarded by Andrew Nembhard as well as Aaron Nesmith. Whoever wins those battles are probably going to win this series because Oklahoma City has the luxury of Caruso and Dort don't have to score. They are out there to completely shut the other team's best offensive player down. They don't have to worry about them scoring. Anything added scoring there is a bonus for them. On the other side, Aaron Nesmith and Nembhard need to score, especially Nesmith. Nesmith was the catalyst in that game one comeback against New York where he hit those like 7 threes down the stretch. He's got to be there. I'm curious if the free throw merchant thing is real. Like if he's going to be guarding him all night, if he gets in foul trouble or Nembhard gets in foul trouble, that's a major problem for the Pacers. I'm hoping the series is good. Hopefully Nembhard can run with Shai a little bit. You're not going to contain Shai, but at least not let him drop 40 points and let Nesmith be offensive. I think the matchups between those two are going to determine the series.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will discuss the Padres game from last night. Then Coach Kentera is on at 12:30. First, from the 858, a text message coming in. Fletch, $100 to get in the club. You give the first bouncer $100 to move to the front of the line. Then you give the door bouncer another $500 for a good table. Drinks averaging $25 to $50 each. Clubbing in Las Vegas will run you at least a couple grand. That on top of the two shirts you paid $550 for. Sammy,
you don't have to get a table though. That's 858. I'm with that. That's fun.
You're just going to the dance floor, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're just getting out there. One hand behind the head, one hand on your ankles.
I'm not rich enough to get a table and bottle service, unfortunately.
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year for your 24th birthday.
If we had that big Rich and TD and Fletch money, we would be able to get it.
You say that every once in a while. I don't know where you're really thinking all that money is.
We need to invite Rich. Rich would be the guy that'd be a blast.
Rich in Vegas is fun. I watched the Mike Tyson, Jake Paul fight with Rich in Vegas.
The rigged fight?
Yeah. He bought all my beers. That was cool of him to do. Very nice guy, that Rich Ornberger. All right, take our quick break here. When we come back, Padres last night giving up a lead 5-0 in the late innings of a game. Padres end up losing 6-5. Let's talk about it coming up next. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Download the Prize Picks app today. We had a winner last night. Thank you, Sammy Long, for that victory. But Prize Picks is my favorite daily fantasy sports app I've ever played, and it's because of the promotions. Like for tonight, it's a Thursday. What's going on? There's no fun name for a Thursday. Well, Tyrese Halliburton discounted to 13.5 points for the finals. Coming up a little bit later tonight. So take advantage of it while it's up there. It is a little lightning bolt, so it'll go away quickly. But download the Prize Picks app today. Use promo code Fletch. Get yourself a $50 bonus when you play your first $5 entry. Coming up at 12:45, we are going to give you your first $5 entry that you can play to get that $50 bonus. And if it's like last night, you're going to win some money on it as well. We had Aaron Judge, Leon Draisaitl playing in hockey, Tony Gonsolin pitching, and Brad Marchand in hockey. And we won a 4-person entry. $20 for me, won me $120. So you can download the app today. That's all you got to do. Pick more than or less than. And even if all your picks don't hit, you still have an opportunity to at least double your cash. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use promo code Fletch. Get that $50 bonus. Start creating entries for whatever it is that you watch. Baseball, hockey, soccer, volleyball. Does not matter. It is available for you on the Prize Picks app. Download it today. Use promo code Fletch. Get that $50 bonus and run your game all season long on Prize Picks. We got some breaking news for you in just a second, but first, our iHeartRadio Music Festival is back, and you can win your way in before you can buy them. Live performances by Bryan Adams, Ed Sheeran, Mariah Carey, Maroon 5, Sammy Hagar, The Offspring, Tim McGraw, and more. September 19th and 20th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, which Sammy owns that town. 2 nights, 1 stage. Listen to win tickets before you can buy them at 9 a.m., 1 p.m., and 5 p.m., including airfare and hotel accommodations in Las Vegas, plus $1,000. Spending cash. Our exclusive Capital One cardholder presale will get started next Wednesday, the 11th at 10 a.m. All right, we do have breaking news out of the NFL, specifically out of Pittsburgh. Tom Pelissero, first on this one. Congratulations to him. Renegade A-Rod, 4-time NFL MVP Aaron Rodgers informing the Steelers that he will fly to Pittsburgh on Friday and sign before next week's minicamp. Sources tell the insiders. Finally, a done deal. Rodgers, at 41 years old, will play his 21st NFL season in the black and the gold. Aaron Rodgers, Pittsburgh Steelers, almost a done deal.
Wow. I'm just glad it happened.
I know.
So in week 1, Justin Fields with the Jets playing former team against Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. So that one should be must-see TV. I believe that might be Monday Night Football or something. But no, this is – listen, it was the only option they had. This is not a tanking team. This is not a team that they have like 12 picks in next year's draft or something absurd like that. So they have the collateral to go up and get an Arch Manning, get the guy out of Mississippi State. That's going to be a really big prospect. There's a lot of good quarterbacks next year. But for a 1-year thing, this was not a team that you could realistically hand the keys to Mason Rudolph and go, we're trying to go win something in the AFC. I think Rodgers has passed it. I don't think he has enough to get it done, but this does make you relevant in a team that is pretty stacked. If he's good, if Rodgers is good and is locked in, and by the reports he's going to mandatory minicamp, this is a team with that defense and that offense that could cause some noise in the AFC.
It's just fun, man. This is what we want. We want the drama. We want the intrigue. Now, Ian Rappaport has clarified. It looks like it's going to be a 1-year deal. That first game that you're talking about is a 10 a.m. Sunday game. It is Steelers in New York playing against the Jets, which I'm sure the schedule makers had a little foresight on this one, thinking that Aaron Rodgers might land with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I will point this out, and this is to Sammy's side of the argument. I actually think Aaron Rodgers won't be that bad this year. But in favor of Sammy's argument, 2023, the New York Jets, do you know what they started through their first 7 games?
What was it?
4-3 with Zach Wilson as their starting quarterback after Aaron Rodgers went out with the Achilles injury. In 2024, Aaron Rodgers, fully healthy, ready to go with his new team, the New York Jets, started off 3-4 as the starting quarterback of the New York Jets. It hasn't been all peaches and daisies for Aaron Rodgers since he moved away from Green Bay. I'm curious to see what he looks like this year. I think DK Metcalf is an excellent option for a wide receiver 1. I'm fascinated, and this is intrigue. This is drama. NFL, good work. Aaron Rodgers is back. I don't care what you think about him off the field. On the field, the dude is polarizing also. So I can't wait to see what this looks like.
You had the back-to-back MVPs, and people were, even though he was getting older, you're looking at, wow, this is a guy who still is balling out in Green Bay. The last year with Green Bay, everyone forgets he was awful for the first 12 weeks. And then the last month of the season, the last like 5 games, they were great. Christian Watson kind of broke out. I remember Romeo Doubs had a really big couple games there. So people kind of all fell in love with Rodgers. Then obviously gets hurt in the first game with the Jets. And then last season was pretty much a disaster. So you don't know what you're getting. The upside's there. It all depends on if he's locked in. Is he ready to play? Does he want to be there? Or is this Aaron Rodgers wanting to get his name back out in the media? We'll see.
And is it week 10, week 11 this year where he and Mike Tomlin start to butt heads a little bit? I'm curious. I'm wondering.
Mike Tomlin's not going to put up with his nonsense.
And it's a 1-year deal. So Mike Tomlin could just cut ties at any time and just be like, Steelers, we're eating this money. I can't handle this guy anymore. I'm fascinated to see how it works out. All right, Padres last night, disappointing game to say the very least. You have a 5-0 lead. Nick Pivetta was pitching well, and then he kind of gives up a big number in an inning where Chapman hit the home run. I do think the Padres, they were right there, man. When you talk about the grit squad that this team is, I understand that's just another way of saying it makes your stomach hurt every time you watch them because these games are coming down to the wire in pretty much every single one of them. And last night was the same thing. So they have the 5-0 lead. You think they're going to coast. Pavetta's looking good. Gives up the home run. Things get a little bit tighter. Game ends up tied. Giants take the lead. But then in the 9th inning, Tatis squares up a baseball. Really nice single. Manny Machado gets that weird kind of fluky play in left field where it's a pop-up. It's a little just a flop shot. But then what's the name of the new giant? Adames collides with the left fielder. Ball lands right in the middle of him.
I thought that was going to be the start or something right there.
Yeah, so did I. And Arise had that gapper. He hit one out to Triples Alley that was well hit. That easily would have scored Fernando from first, and then they make the catch. Like, it looked like that ninth inning something special was happening, and then it looked like when Manny Machado and the Giants made the error, something was going to happen, but it just was not to be. And it does remind you, trying to play in a bunch of one-run baseball games is a dangerous spot to be in.
I also put a little bit of this on Mike Schilt. You see Nick Pivetta, who's been great all season.
Left him in way too long.
Left him in. The sixth inning, you get the 2-run homer. Chapman turned on it. It was a good, good swing by him. To send him back out there in the seventh after that had happened, I don't like that decision. I know everyone's got revisionist history, 2020 vision, but it felt like we were pushing Nick Pivetta a little bit too long, and considering he's really been the guy so far this year. And then I was just at the wrap-up show with Schaefer and Jim last night.
How'd they feel about everything?
Not very happy.
Really?
Jason Adam.
We were nicer to the Padres than they were?
Yeah. Jason Adam, with some stat, but Schaefer's got it, is on pace to pitch 81 games this year. That's unacceptable because you're going to need Jason.
That's crazy.
You're going to need Jason Adam to be, if the Padres are in the postseason, you want Jason Adam being your setup guy. You want him to be able to hand the ball to Suarez and let Suarez go to work in the ninth. There's got to be something here. The Dodgers are facing this problem. Coach Kentera has pointed that out as joining us next. I mean, Vestia and Tanner Scott, some of these arms are getting burned. You don't want the same thing to happen to the Padres with Jason Adam.
We got the coach coming up next. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. We'll also give away a 4-pack of San Diego County Fair tickets on the other side. Keep listening for Coach Kentera coming up next.
This sport is sponsored by WhatsApp. Padres, after having a 5-0 lead yesterday, choked it away 6-5. They are back here in about 15 minutes with Dylan Cease going on the mound against Robbie Ray. San Francisco is a slight favorite at -120, while the Padres are even on the money line. In the NBA, Game 1 of the NBA Finals tonight, 5:30. Oklahoma City is currently favored by 9.5 with the point total set at 230.5. They're currently a -750 favorite to win the series outright. On WhatsApp, your personal messages stay private. So things like those selfies between last weekend's birthday party stay between you and your bestie, because on WhatsApp, your personal messages are yours. No one else can see or hear them, not even them. WhatsApp, message privately with everyone.
We got some fun texts about the NBA Finals and about Sammy's Vegas trip that will hit coming up at 12:45. But of course, we're going to make room right now for the coach, Coach John Kentera, joining us a little bit earlier this week because the Padres are playing in just a little bit. But Coach, how are we feeling on a Thursday today?
All that great out there, but I'm feeling pretty good today.
Well, it's good to hear from you, just like always. And look, Padres coming up in a little bit. We talked about last night's game a ton, and yeah, it's disappointing you lose 6-5 after having a 5-0 lead. But if you're going to take one good thing out of yesterday, looks like Fernando's starting to square the ball up a little bit for the first time in weeks.
Yeah, it's been a real rough go for Fernando, and hopefully he can add a couple more hits today. It was good to see him get rolling. I mean, he hit 184 in the month of May, and I know a lot of people probably forgot, but he got hit pretty good. I think it was on May 2nd, and he hadn't been the same ball player. And I didn't know if there was something else barking at him. Sometimes with Fernando, and I don't know, people have noticed it, but I still think he kind of wants to come back in and play a little shortstop. Not that that's going to happen anytime soon, or maybe even in his career. But I think out there in right field, that when things aren't going well, he gets a little bored. But it was good to see him get the 3 hits last night. He had a double, and hopefully he can add to it today. And hopefully the boys can get a win today. Taking 3 out of 4 would be great. You end up splitting. You got to come out of there heading to Milwaukee very, very disappointed, because they let that game get away last night. They don't normally allow that to happen.
Coach, Jason Adam had a little bit of a rough go last night. Do you think he's being taxed too much, or what do you think? How do you think Schilt needs to manage his bullpen?
Oh, I think he's being taxed way too much, to be honest with you. I've talked to some people. He'd pitched 9 of the last 14 ball games, and it's not just the innings. I mean, when he comes in, Sammy, he's coming in usually in pretty big situations. Sometimes they'll bring him in the middle of an inning. A lot of times they try to start him with a fresh inning, but it's just not the innings late in the ball game where he's having to make pressure pitches. The guy's still warming up in the bullpen. All those count. And, I'll be honest with you. I think Mike Schultz got to really be very, very careful with some of his premium guys, namely him and Suarez. When we saw Suarez, we talked about it last week. He kept Suarez out of a couple of those games when maybe, especially one in particular, where it may have cost him a ball game. But sometimes you got to, lose the battle to win the war. And I think you got to be very, very careful. You don't burn these guys out by August and September, because we're hoping here in San Diego they're going to be playing deep into October.
So the Padres coach, and by the way, Coach Kentera joining us today. You can find him on YouTube at San Diego Sports Talk is where you find the coach. But Coach, the Padres are 21-10 this year in 1-run baseball games. Actually, after last night, they're 21-11. So that means they've played 32 1-run games so far this season. Well, they've played 60 games. So more than half of your games in a year so far are 1-run baseball games. Like, that's a trend that you got to get away from as the season continues, because we know 1-run baseball games last night can happen just as often as the games the Padres win.
Well, that's true, Fletcher. There's no doubt about that. But, at the end of the day, I guess I'll look at it from a managerial standpoint. When you won those games, it sends a message to the ball club that, hey, we're not going to panic. We know we can win ball games. The Padres have not been a great comeback team, in the 7th, 8th, or 9th. They haven't been real good in that so far this year, but they've been a way to win the tight ball games, and it's been good. They've won a couple of extra inning games recently, and that permeates through the roster, the clubhouse, so where, when you lose those games, it's a thought when you get to the 7th, 8th, and 9th, and you got a league. Go, well, how are we going to blow this one tonight? Well, right now the Padres are playing with a lot of confidence. They haven't played great baseball really all in the last month. I mean, they were 13-13 in the month of May. They're off to a good start in the month of June at 3-1 right now, but they've got a very difficult schedule with the Dodgers coming up, and Arizona all of a sudden looks like they can play again. They won 3 straight. They've swept Atlanta today. They finished off a 3-game sweep in Atlanta, so they're back to the 500 mark. But I think the Padres are what they are right now. They don't get a lot from left field. We know that they're not getting a whole lot from behind the plate. Bogarts and Cronenworth are hitting in the low 240s. It is what it is right now, but they're finding a way to win tight ball games because they've done some good things offensively, executing in pressure situations, and they got one of the best bullpens in all of baseball.
Coach, between Vasquez, Kolek, and Bergert, who made the start the other night, who would you trust more going forward, potentially for a 5th starter spot if it were to be that the postseason?
And I think you mentioned Pivetta, right?
Oh yeah, I was assuming Pivetta would be there, but Pivetta as well, yeah.
Well, you're hoping King comes back. I mean, I don't know how long you're out with a pinched nerve. I mean, I think I've had a pinched nerve before, but I wasn't a major league pitcher. But after a few days, you get that muscle to relax and you can get back throwing. Maybe it's more. You never know with the Padres. They tell you one thing and then they tell you something 3 days later, and it's a lot worse than they initially told you. So we'll hold our breath on that. But Vasquez thrown today, going against Robbie Ray, a former Cy Young Award winner, and Robbie Ray's pitching great. He's 7-1 and doing a great job for the Giants. It'll be a tough one today for the Padres, but Vasquez has gotten better, and I knew he would get better. I liked his stuff when the Padres got him. He had his ups and downs last year, making 20 starts, but I think he's done a good job. Kolek has obviously been the biggest surprise. He had a good spring training, went down to AAA, did not pitch well if you look at the numbers on 7.11 ERA and a lot of the other numbers that you look at. But he's gotten better, and hopefully you're going to get Darvish back at some point in time. That's one of the grand mysteries of all time. What is actually wrong with you, Darvish? And by the way, the Padres owe him $63 million over the next 3+ years. He's under contract until 2028, and I'm a Darvish fan. He's a good guy. He's a real pro, but Father Time is undefeated, and Padres are on the hook for $63 million, and we have no idea when he's going to pitch this year or if he's going to pitch.
And the Yu Darvish thing is the shining example for what you said just a couple minutes ago, Coach. In the preseason, the Padres he's got a little elbow tightness, but he'll be fine. He'll be fine. Well, we're 2.5 months into the season. We haven't seen Yu Darvish yet. Coach, kind of before we switch over to the NBA, is it time we should be done being surprised by Gavin Sheets being the best offensive producer on this team?
Well, he done a hell of a job. There's no doubt about it. I didn't expect him to hit 300, but, he's hitting, 260, 270. He does that. That's going to lead to power. I was on a Philadelphia radio station with our old buddy Bill Werndell today.
Well, Billy.
Billy was asking me about, who are the guys, and I told him we talked a little bit about Fernando. We talked obviously about Manny, but I go, the big surprise is Gavin Sheets. Now, I knew Sheets. In fact, I'm watching a White Sox game right now, actually. I watched a lot of those 9:30 Thursday morning games the last few years, and I saw Gavin Sheets, and I liked him. His numbers weren't great with the White Sox, but, again, he didn't have guys hitting in front of him or back of him. But I knew the kid had some talent. He got a new lease on life. He's doing a great job leading the ball club in RBIs right now. What's he got? 11 home runs, I think, right now. He's doing a heck of a job. The problem is you got to figure out where you're going to play him, or is he just going to be a full-time DH? And remember, he's on a 1-year contract. And, he's a guy that right now, every time he goes out and is driving in 3 or 4 runs, he's making money for next year. Now, are the Padres going to be able to afford him next year? I would certainly hope so. And then, what are they going to do with the rise? I mean, they got some things they got to look at right now. I mean, Gavin Sheets right now is definitely on a lot of other teams' radar. He's only 29 years of age, and he's getting better and better. But I don't know where you play him on defense. I mean, I was telling my wife the other night when he ran into the wall and left that imprint. Got a lot of guys I was around. If they had a home game the next day, they would have went out there and chalked it off like it was a dead body because he almost put himself on the DL the other night.
Coach, switching quickly to the NBA, do you think the Pacers are being overlooked in this series, or how do you view this series as between Oklahoma City and Indiana?
Well, Sammy, I'll tell you what, they're probably being overlooked because OKC had such a great regular season, but from following the NBA, Halliburton's a hell of a player. I know this NBA season, the ratings were down. I would imagine the final ratings will be down. But I'm going to tell you something. I think this is really a great opportunity for the NBA, and the NBA makes a lot of mistakes, but I will tell you, I think if they can really get this series to go 6 or even 7 games, I think people are going to really enjoy watching some of these guys play that they haven't seen. We talk about LeBron and Steph and, all these guys that have been kind of carrying the league for a number of years. But, I mean, Halliburton's a hell of a player. I mean, a great player. I love watching him play. And then, Gilgeous Alexander, Chet Holmgren, who I saw a few years ago play against USD when he was playing at Gonzaga. He's a hell of a player. He's healthy. I think people that love basketball that maybe haven't seen these two teams play, I think they're really going to enjoy it. And the ratings maybe will be a little bit better than I think, but I don't expect it. But I think the people that take time to watch are going to really, their eyes are going to be opened by some of the great young talent in the NBA.
Yeah, and especially with OKC, their defense is just fierce. So if that's what you complain about with the NBA, watching OKC is a bit of a breath of fresh air. Coach, appreciate it every single week. We'll let you go so you can watch the Padres game in full. But it's great talking to you as always. If you want to find the coach these days, find him at San Diego Sports Talk on YouTube. He's going live there at least a few times a week. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate you.
Hey, Fletch, Sammy, always a pleasure, my friend. Have a great day and finish off the week strong.
That's what we like to hear. Coach Kentera, the man, the legend, on with us every single Thursday. Had him a little bit earlier this week. So if you only caught the end of that conversation, it will be up on our podcast. Just search the Fletch Zone in the free iHeartRadio app. You can find it there. Subscribe, add us to your presets, make it easy to find us. We certainly would love that. All right, quick break. And the hot man himself, Sammy Long, coming in for round 2, long shots. Coming up next, fresh off a win. That's on San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. But first, 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair. Almost forgot, but I didn't forget. We said right after Coach. It is right after Coach. If you want to go out to the San Diego County Fair at the Del Mar Fairgrounds this year, you can buy tickets at sdfair.com or you can win them right now. It's the Summer Pet-tacular. It is the best deal in town, celebrating the special bonds between human and their pets. If you got kiddos, this is the best spot for you to be. sdfair.com for tickets. Caller number 7 right now, 877-767-4760. You are going to the fair courtesy of San Diego Sports 760. Long shots coming up next.
You know the song, We Won, baby.
Someone's got to pay for all of Sammy's shirts. AM radio keeps vital voices accessible. Congress can secure its future, but we need your help. Text AM to 52886 right now to support keeping AM radio in cars. Tell your member of Congress to pass legislation now and keep AM radio in cars. Standard message and data rates do apply. My name is Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long. We're with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. And yes, we are shaking our money makers, because Sammy Long got us a winner last night on long shots. If you don't already have it, download the Prize Picks app, use promo code Fletch, get yourself a $50 bonus when you play your first $5 entry. This could be your first $5 entry. So Sammy, let's not keep the people waiting, because we had a winner last night. So we're going to keep this thing going, because yesterday, between hockey and baseball, Sammy provided everybody excuse me, on-air sneeze.
It's called a dump button.
Oh, I like sneezing right on the mic. That's better for everybody. So they know what's
people
going on.
that are tuning in that are eating their lunch right now, you just sneezed.
That was a big sneeze too. That one felt real good. I'll tell you that. You ready to go to long shots?
I'm ready.
Smash that button.
Let's see. Underdogs? Nah, that's old. Those with a less than good chance of winning? Too wordy. Wait, got it. It's time for Sammy's long shots.
Man, there's nothing better than a good sneeze. I feel clear.
Okay.
From the nasal cavity all the way to the
behalf
brain.
of everyone eating lunch, just calm down over there. That's not. We didn't need to hear that.
To breathe again. God, that must be what dogs feel like when they get in their little.
What is going on?
Feel great. Where are we going, Sammy?
Okay. Tyler, LFG Sammy. Let's get another. Shout out to Tyler, man.
LFGS.
Always right in, huh?
LFGS. Just leave off the D.
Leave off the D. Okay. All
Let's effing go, Sammy.
4-leg parlay. We hit a 4-legger last night, so why shouldn't we be able to hit one tonight?
Why not?
We're hitting a streak right now.
You see the Tyrese Halliburton discount?
Exactly. That's what we're starting with. Tyrese Halliburton Lightning Bolt discount. His points is set at 17.5, but with the Lightning Bolt, they're giving you 13.5. Now, I know why they're doing this. Lou Dort has been a thorn in Tyrese Halliburton's side for a long time now. Last 2 years, Lou Dort's been on the team. When they have played the Thunder, which has only been about 4 matchups because they're in the East and Western Conference, he has only averaged about 12 points a game. And he has taken less shots with Lou Dort at the helm, but still 13.5 is a very manageable number. Tyrese Halliburton has taken his game to the next level. He's grown up before our eyes in this postseason. He's going to be aggressive. The only way for them to win this series, if Tyrese Halliburton is an offensive scorer, he cannot be just distributing the ball like he has in other series. He needs to be a bona fide scorer. Him and Siakam take over. So more than 13.5 points with the Lightning Bolt for Tyrese Halliburton. Now, down low, Miles Turner, 19 points and rebounds. This is my favorite pick of the day. More on Miles Turner. Miles Turner, I think, is going to have a really big series. He didn't hit this number in each of the last 4 games, but that was against the Knicks. The Knicks' big advantage over Indiana was the fact that they had that size. They had Mitchell Robinson, Karl-Anthony Towns. So Miles Turner was kind of out of the game a little bit more. He was playing a lot, but he wasn't a focal point, knowing that they were trying to take advantage of the lack of guard play for the Knicks. So Miles Turner, really, Chet Holmgren's the only viable big for Oklahoma City. I think this is a real advantage possibly for Indiana. Not that he's better than Chet Holmgren, but I think the way Miles Turner plays, he can go off in the series. More than 19 points and rebounds for Miles Turner. I think he has a big night tonight. On the other side, Lou Dort, less than 9.5 points. No disrespect to Lou Dort, because he's a phenomenal player. He is tasked with guarding Halliburton all night long. And the kind of thing with Oklahoma City is, which is why they're so good and they give so many teams hell, is Caruso and Dort don't have to score. If anything that they add scoring is a bonus for Oklahoma City. Lou Dort's job tonight is going to be to stick on Halliburton and do not let him get off in this game. He had 12 points against Minnesota in the last game, so this is why this line is a little bit juiced tonight. But I think Lou Dort's going to have his hands full. Less than 9.5 points tonight for Lou Dort. And then we have one baseball pick on the night. Max Fried, more than 5.5 pitcher strikeouts, Yankees versus Cleveland. The last outing, Max Fried got touched up by the Dodgers, actually. Very surprising. Dodgers kind of ate him up on last Friday night, which was odd because the Dodgers had struggled a little bit against left-handed pitching. Max Fried, I think, gets a little get back tonight against Cleveland, rounding out that series. More than 5.5 pitcher strikeouts for Max Fried. All right, to recap, Tyrese Halliburton, Lightning Bolt, more than 13.5 points. That's the free one they're giving you. Miles Turner, more than 19.5 points and rebounds. Lou Dort for Oklahoma City, less than 9.5 points. Max Fried, more than 5.5 pitcher strikeouts. Fletch, we don't have a problem with anything?
No notes.
No notes.
This is Faith in Sammy Thursday.
This is what happens when you win. You don't need notes.
You are the hottest commodity in town right now, my friend. We got Alexander. Let's go, Sammy. On the text line, 619. Attaboy, Sammy. Long shots. Man, very different tone today than yesterday.
See what happens when you make people money?
All it has to happen is one time. Now, Johnny Drama, the GOAT, the legend. On the text line, though, it's not all just love for Sammy, because we do have from the 858. Oh, sorry, 747. Sam, are you flying Spirit Air or did you lease a private jet? You only turned 23 once, buddy. What are you flying out to Vegas next weekend?
Southwest.
Southwest.
Which is, you know how I feel about Southwest Airlines. Not my favorite airline, but it's a 1 hour flight.
What's wrong with Southwest?
No, it's just
I like Southwest.
I've flown Southwest. So my parents lived out in Phoenix for a little bit, so I went to go see them all the time. I've flown Southwest maybe more than any other human being alive.
I doubt that.
No, I'm telling you,
I highly doubt.
Last year,
there's people who jump on Southwest every day.
No, there was last year. I think I took about 60 Southwest flights. No joke.
That's a big number.
It's a fine airline. It's just when you fly Delta, when you fly Alaskan or Hawaiian, like this is what I should feel like when I'm going on vacation. Not the cattle call. You're all staying in there. People are arguing about their number, lined up 1 through 60. They don't turn the AC on in the cabin until it starts. So it's a whole thing.
Sammy is a bougie boy. 747 also saying, personally, stay out of the Vegas clubs. Nothing but trouble. Go see a nice show, get some good food, be in bed by 9 so you can have a nice early start.
I think we're going to a comedy club Saturday night.
They got a good one in Vegas?
Jimmy Kimmel's new one is fantastic. I went to that on my 21st birthday.
Well, that's fun. Yeah, I don't take that advice, 747, but we are going to go see a show next time my wife and I go to Vegas.
What, you're going to Wizard of Oz?
We're going to see Wizard of Oz at the Sphere. We are going to get some nice food, but my brother-in-law and I stay up and gamble.
Yeah.
My wife's in bed by 9. I'm not.
747. Thank you for listening to the show. Appreciate the text. 9 o'clock, I think would be very disappointed to be in bed by 9 o'clock.
If you were in bed by 9 o'clock in Vegas, that means you lost all your money.
Yeah.
And there's nothing for you to do.
You know, I heard Vince Vaughn talking about this on Hot Ones. He was on the show with, the Hot Wings show. And he's, as someone who had been to Vegas a lot, the movie Swingers.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
Exactly. He had a great plan. He's like, you can't, even though you're going to do a lot of gambling, if you schedule time to gamble right off the jump, it's a problem, because then if you start losing, all of a sudden we're chasing it all weekend. You have to have, this is where I hear the show, dinner plans, bar, club. You have to have some set plans, and then in between that is gambling.
I like getting to Vegas a little bit later on in the day.
Yeah.
That way, if there's a big sporting event going on, you could just head straight to the sports book after you check in. You sit down, you watch a baseball game, you watch a basketball game. You do something that is not on the floor. And then once you get a nice little buzz going, you have a nice dinner, especially if you win your sports bet, then you're having a really nice dinner.
Well, and that's the thing with sports bet is that you can sit there, and even if you lose, it's a 3-hour game.
Exactly right.
Versus like blackjack. What's your game in Vegas, by the way?
I do like blackjack a lot. And last time I was in Vegas, I went on an absolute tear. One of the best gambling nights of my life.
What? How many people are at the table?
It was a full table. We had, I think it was at Circa. I know that. And there was maybe 6 seats, and it was full. And there was the same group of people for about 2.5 hours. And we were all winning.
Oh, that's awesome.
Community wins.
How many cars were we counting?
None. You think I know how to do that?
You got the tells. You got the scrape the nose.
No, the dude next to me was damn near blackout drunk. He ended up getting kicked off the table. That's when the vibes went down, and so we all just left.
Oh, they kicked him out because he was winning.
He was winning, dude, and he was like, I don't even know. $750, sure.
You know, my first day in Vegas,
I'm over there with $15 in front of me. This dude's dropping $750 on one
I didn't
hand.
know, because we used to go to. We're gonna get out of here, but I used to go to 18+ casinos in San Diego, like Barona and Palma, because we couldn't get in when we were 21. And then I didn't realize that only in Vegas is that where they give you free drinks while you're gambling. I was out in Phoenix at a casino, and the girl comes back. She's like, that'll be $15. I go, for a Corona? I'm like, it's $15 for a Corona?
Yeah, the nice part about Vegas, you sit down on a pie gow table in Vegas, and you just sit there for 2.5 hours. You don't win money. You don't lose money. You push a lot.
Pie gow.
Pie gow is the easiest game in the world, and you don't even really need to know what you're doing, because they'll kind of talk you through it, especially if you're at one of the lesser casinos on the strip. But you're pushing the whole time. You're not winning. You're not losing. You're just drinking for free.
I might need to play some Pie Gow.
Pie Gow is the best if you're on a budget. All right, San Diego Sports 760. Take a quick break. Hour number 2 coming up next. We'll keep you updated on what's going on in the Padres game, but we got to react to Aaron Rodgers signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers almost. I think it's going to happen tomorrow. We got to react or preview the NBA Finals and talk a little hockey from last night. That was a hell of a game. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Pella Windows and Doors. Padres Giants just got underway as the end of the first inning. Cease allowed 2 on, but was able to get out of it with 2 consecutive strikeouts. So it is 0-0 on the day. And the big story broke 30 minutes ago. Aaron Rodgers, per Ian Rapport, is on his way to Pittsburgh to sign a 1-year contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers. It is reported he will be He will be in mandatory OTAs this week. Pella Windows and Doors, #1 on Consumer Report and the leader in window innovation. Now offering their largest discounts ever to celebrate 100 years as a company. To schedule your free consultation today, please visit Pella.com. That's Pella.com.
It's hour number 2 here on San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John and Jim will take over then. We'll keep you updated on what's going on in the Padres game. Still nothing after the first inning. Dylan Cease pitched well in the first. And in the second inning, Padres are up to bat. We'll keep you updated if anything crazy happens. Text line's been great all day. Keep those going. 70470. Start your message with team. If you got some advice for our young Sammy, who is going to be heading to Vegas next weekend with a bunch of his boys. Vegas ain't ready for them. Spent $550 on new shirts to hit the clubs in, dude. Sammy's going to get wet and wild out in Vegas. Woo!
You're getting me in trouble, man.
They call it a dry climate out there. Not when Sammy Long's there, baby. Oh, it's going to be crazy.
I don't know what you're doing. Why aren't you coming out here?
Next weekend.
Don't be lame, dude.
This weekend, I'm actually very excited about this. Going to a dance recital for my niece. See, this is what happens once you get married, Sammy. All of a sudden, you had responsibilities and stuff. You can't just up and go to Vegas.
What time's dance recital? When's that?
I have no idea. It's this weekend, though. Next weekend, I have no idea. I think we have something. Is next weekend
Are you in the dance recital?
No, God, no. My brother-in-law is, though, so I'll be filming.
Is this like an uncle...
No, my brother-in-law, my niece's dad, they have to do a dad's performance.
Okay. Is he nervous about it?
No, he loves it. It's like his favorite time. He'll complain. He'll bitch and moan all the way leading up to it.
He's been practicing
Dude,
the whole time?
He gets out on stage. Guy turns into
awesome.
like the biggest dance freak of all time.
That's what I'm talking about.
We do this every single year. It's very fun.
So you're not chugging beer and watching the O'Malley Marab fight on Saturday night?
Saturday night, yeah, that's happening.
Yeah.
Is that why you're actually going to Vegas? Is it your birthday or is it because the UFC event, which isn't in Vegas?
No, UFC Saturday.
Oh, that's this. We're all getting way too confused here.
You're confusing everyone. You made it about my birthday. It's not about my birthday.
It is about your birthday.
I just am going to Vegas. You asked me why I was going. And I said, oh, it's my, you're like, is there a special thing? I said, it's my birthday, but that's not a big deal.
You know that group text 6 months ago was like
taking this into a whole new realm.
Sammy on his group text about 6 months ago was like, boys, June 13th.
No.
About to be crazy.
No.
We're getting rooms in Vegas. I'm going to spend some major coin because that's the thing Sammy says he's going to spend some coin.
I don't even think half the people know that it's my birthday. That's to show you how it's not about that.
By the way, Sammy's birthday is next week. He's very excited about it. So we're all going to prop him up a little bit.
No, I thought we were doing a roast.
Next Friday, it's going to be.
I thought we were doing a roast.
It's going to be a day totally dedicated to our own Sammy Long, who, if you keep winning us money, it's going to change from a roast to a celebration. We might hold you up like a Roman god on a chair or something.
Maybe we'll have a 7-day win streak until then.
That'd be nice. I would like that very much for your birthday. All right, it is San Diego Sports 760. We got tons of news to react to in the sports world. So, Sammy, let's get through the top stories in the world of sports with hour 2 on Big 3.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back in the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
It's hour 2. If you want to find us on YouTube at San Diego Sports 760, on X, it is at Fletch and Sammy. Find us there. You can give us a follow. We sure would appreciate it. We'll follow you back immediately. We get a lot more DMs at Fletch and Sammy over the last few days. We're good with that too. During show hours, after show hours.
We love our DMs.
Sammy will respond. Send pics. Not those pics.
I was about to say, I was like, calm down over there, bud.
All right, where we start with hour 2?
Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets, facing Justin Fields in week 1. After 30 minutes, 45 minutes, what's your reaction? Where do you think the Steelers stack up in the AFC?
That's the real question, isn't it? Look, I do like the move for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's a 1-year deal. We'll know the specifics of it, I'm sure, next week. I believe it's going to get signed tomorrow because Aaron Rodgers is flying into Pittsburgh tomorrow. The report is that it's going to happen. So we're going to assume that it's going to happen. And if it does, then look, the Steelers, you have to take them seriously. Aaron Rodgers is probably the most talented, let's put it that way, most talented quarterback of my lifetime. He's not the best, most talented. If he has anything left, if he can go to Pittsburgh with that defense, with TJ Watt, with Mike Tomlin as the head coach, this is going to be a good team. And if he can link up with DK Metcalf, they can make some special things happen. I think Pittsburgh is a postseason team, probably 10, 11 wins. And they're not a Super Bowl team right now, but you never know.
Yeah, it's in the NFC. It's funny if the Steelers are playing in the NFC, I feel like there would be a legit shot. I just feel like with Aaron Rodgers, even though I think they're going to win a lot of games because they did last year, and they're one of the best defenses in the entire NFL. I think you upgrade going from Pickens to DK Metcalf, even though DK has been a little bit of a head case at times. He's not George Pickens. The offensive line's got better in the offseason. There's reports about Jonnu Smith possibly coming over from Miami. There's trade
that got kind of tanked last week.
No, but the discussions are back up yesterday, so they're kind of looking at it. It's hard. This is why it's hard to pick some of these teams to go to Super Bowl, the AFC, because let's say if you're the Steelers and you get in, and you're going to have 3 games against Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. Like, you don't have the better quarterback there, or if the Chargers are there, or if the Houston Texans are there, hell, even the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's tough when you're picking to go to a Super Bowl against a team that you do not have the better quarterback in a quarterback-driven league the whole way out. Now, I think they're going to be a handful for people. I think that division, they're going to be towards the top of it because the way that team is constructed, it's kind of could be hell for the Bengals because the Bengals have no defense, and the Ravens and Steelers always play each other super tough. So I'm excited for this. It adds another team of interest in the AFC. Mason Rudolph would have tanked that team, but I get it from Mike Tomlin's perspective. If it's a one-year deal, it works out. You look like a genius. If not, you have 12 picks next year. You can package up and try to go make a big splash to finally Pittsburgh get a quarterback that they've needed for years.
I would like to see them get another wide receiver because right now you're looking at DK Metcalf and Robert Woods as the 1 and 2. Calvin Austin is there as well, but one more bigger name wide receiver. Like I like George Pickens in that offense, and he's not there anymore.
I know it seems like if they would have paired him and DK for one more season, that would have been lethal.
And then at running back, they move on from Najee Smith. So you're dealing with Jalen Warren, who was productive as Najee Smith's backup. I'm curious if he steps into that RB1 role or if they find it elsewhere. It's not a bad offense. It's a good offense with a great defense. And with Aaron Rodgers, he turns that B- offense into a B+ offense. So maybe the Steelers can do something special this year. I got a ton of faith in their head coach, Mike Tomlin.
All right.
What's next?
Fight night, Saturday night. Merab Dvalishvili fighting Sugar Sean O'Malley. This is the rematch. The first one was actually at the Sphere where you're going to see the Wizard of Oz. So Sean O'Malley is currently a plus 230 dog. A, do we feel like this is too much disrespect? And number 2, does the UFC need Sean O'Malley to win, considering he's probably their biggest star?
They sure would like him. You know, the conversation we have around the NBA finals with the 2 teams being from Indiana and Oklahoma City, that's not great. Well, Merab is boring. Let's just be honest about that. Merab gets to where he gets to. He beats Sugar Sean because Merab is the most cardio, physically fit person in maybe the entire UFC. He does not stop. His nickname is the Machine. He gets that because he does not stop moving. And Sugar Sean is such a assassin where it's like he pinpoints his target, he takes his one shot, and he has that one shot power, whether it's with his legs or with his fists. And Sean just got tired in their first matchup. Dana would love nothing more than for this to be a first or second round knockout where Sugar Sean lays Merab flat on his back. But the dude's got a jaw. This is going to be tough for Sugar Sean. Plus 230 feels about right to me. Watching these 2 guys fight last time, it is all going to depend on whether or not Sean has worked up his cardio to a point where he can stay moving with Merab the entire time and not just dance around like they did last time, because that was a boring fight, man.
Yeah, last time it was pretty rough. They need Sugar Sean to win because if you think for the UFC's perspective, the UFC and boxing have been kind of the polling opposites. Boxing is made up of all stars. They have more stars than the UFC, more name recognizable people. Now, the UFC, what they've done right is because it's all under one promotion, not chopped into Top Rank and in Golden Boy and PBC, Dana forces the top guys to fight the top guys. To what you just said, Merab is not interesting. He's not sellable to an American market. And that's really what makes the UFC go, for being honest. A lot of fighters from Russia and other places, we, as a society, we like rooting for Americans. We like rooting for Mexico, England, things like that. I think Sugar Sean is Conor McGregor in a nutshell, because he's got the power. He's a loud talker. You either love Sugar Sean or you can't stand Sugar Sean. You need more of that in the UFC, because Adesanya looks like he's on the back end of his career. Alex Pereira coming off a loss, 38 years old, so he got started in the UFC late. You don't know how much longer he's going to be. John Jones is 38 as well. I don't see all the other guys that are stepping up, the American superstars that you're looking at, or big punchers that are going to carry this, the UFC's kind of name brand for a while. I do think Sean's a live dog in this one. I think it's going to be a much better fight. I think Sean kind of underestimated Merab, started too late, and Merab just kind of avoided his shot all night. I do think there's going to be a knockout in this fight. My favorite bet of this fight is the fight not to go the distance plus 190. Usually what happens in rematches, either Merab's going to choke him out on the ground or Sean's going to catch him because they know each other's tendencies. It's hard to replicate that over 5 rounds for another fight. So I think in that regard, we could see a knockout in this one not to go the distance.
619 is saying I said Najee Harris's name wrong. Did I say Najee Harris's name wrong?
You said Najee Smith, but Najee Harris. That's what we meant.
My bad.
I should have said something.
858, get real. Steelers have a terrible O-line and an average running back room and one good wide receiver. At best, they're a B- team. Add Aaron Rodgers, B- turns into a B+. I think that's what I said.
Yeah.
Story 3.
Yep. Heading back to the NFL. Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson is sidelined with a shoulder injury. This comes after CJ Stroud a week ago, also dealing with another injury there. How are we feeling about that whole division? The AFC South, it feels like it should be the Jags division, considering you got Hunter and Trevor Lawrence, Stroud. The Texans have been better. Anthony Richardson. What are we feeling about all this?
Maybe the worst take of my professional career was that Anthony Richardson was going to be great in year 2.
I thought he was too, so I can't knock you for it.
The dude has all the athleticism in the world. He did some really special things in his rookie season. I thought he was just going to grow on that and grow on that and grow on that. And then year 2 came and he looked like he didn't know what the hell he was doing. I still have a lot of hope for Anthony Richardson. I do. I don't love what we saw last year when he took himself out of a game. In fact, I hated it. It was one of my most puke-worthy moments of the 2024 NFL season. But if Anthony Richardson can take some of that athleticism and the big arm and worked his ass off this offseason, I hope he's going to be good. I hope the shoulder injury is not too big of a deal with him. I hope it's not too big of a deal with CJ Stroud. Young quarterbacks are good for this league, and those are 2 really exciting young quarterbacks.
Anthony Richardson, that's why I was with you last year. I thought Anthony Richardson would break out, and I guess, hey, there's still time. He is what you would draw up as a prototype of what you wanted. I remember when he was coming out of college, everyone compared him to Mahomes and Allen because he had the cannon arm. Out of college, he wasn't the most accurate, but he won some big games at Florida, and that Florida team wasn't that stacked. And then you heard the reports coming out of training camp last year. I remember they had the joint practice with Cincinnati, and Eli Apple and some of those guys, or some of the corners for the Bengals, were like, he can't make reads. There was a scout that said there are high school quarterbacks that make better reads than Anthony Richardson, but his athleticism and his arm has carried him this far. So, yeah, that division kind of feels like a wild card. But again, we're going back to, if you don't have a quarterback, especially in the AFC, if you don't have an elite of a Patrick, a Lamar, a Josh, if you want to throw Herbert or T-Law or Stroud or one of those guys as a cut below, the NFC feels more open because Jalen Hurts has been great, but we know that they really won the Super Bowl because of the team, because of the collective, really, than just Jalen Hurts. Like, who's the best quarterback in the NFC? Stafford? Hurts?
It starts with those 2 guys, I would say.
I mean, down the list, you wouldn't say the best, but Kyler Murray's exciting. Jane Daniels, forgot about Jane Daniels.
Jaden Daniels is maybe already at the top of my list. You have to throw Brock Purdy in there. The dude is giving you no reason not to. His numbers are out of this world every single year.
I'm not going to get in this argument with you.
I know, but the NFC, like if you're talking about this cut below, yeah, I would have. There's 4 quarterbacks in the AFC I have over any quarterback in the NFC. And it's not even really close.
The NFC is open because there's not a quarterback outside of with an asterisk of Jaden Daniels, because Jaden Daniels could be this guy, and I think he is that guy that's going to go into the top 5, but he could have a second-year regression. Look at what happened with CJ Stroud and Justin Herbert. There's not really a quarterback that you're like, damn, we have to get through that to go to the Super Bowl in the NFC. That's why it feels very wide open, despite the Eagles being so dominant last year.
Trade Joe Burrow to the NFC. Make things a little more interesting. Get him out of Cincinnati. Rescue that man.
Yeah,
God.
I'm surprised you would want Joe Burrow in the NFC.
I can't stand seeing him waste away with the Cincinnati Bengals. I think it's the
Bengals
worst.
are a horrible organization.
We would have Joe Burrow as for sure a top 2 quarterback if he was not with that freaking organization. All right, take a quick break. When we come back, we'll keep you updated on the Padres score. We'll also get a little more in-depth preview of the NBA Finals tonight. I also want to hear Sammy's thoughts about what went down in hockey last night. And we'll do all of that coming up. Dirk Bentley tickets also coming up within the next 30 minutes. Don't go anywhere. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. If you are a pro basketball fan, this is it, man. We are entering into tonight, the final series of the season. You're not going to have it back until the upcoming fall. So download the Prize Picks app today. Use promo code Fletch, FLETCH. You're going to get a $50 bonus when you play your first $5 entry. But Fletch, what am I going to use as my first $5 entry? Here you go. Tyrese Halliburton tonight, more than 13.5 points. That's a discount on the Prize Picks app. Miles Turner, more than 19 points and rebounds. Lou Dort, less than 9.5 points. Max Fried, more than 5.5 pitcher strikeouts. That is a lineup for you. Put that in with $5 on your first entry. You are going to get a $50 bonus on that bad boy. And Sammy won for us last night. We're going to see if Sammy's going to win for us again tonight. Download the Prize Picks app today. Take advantage of the promotions, the Taco Tuesdays and the Flex Fridays, the best promotions in all of daily fantasy sports. Prize Picks is my favorite app. I've had it since November of 2023. I've withdrawn more than $5,000 from my account into my bank account. All that is winnings. Download it today. If you think you know ball, if you got the skills, you can win up to 2,000 times your cash on a single lineup on Prize Picks. Download it today. Use promo code Fletch. Get the $50 bonus and run your game all season long on Prize Picks. San Diego FC back on the pitch Saturday night, taking on Club America at Snapdragon Stadium. This match is not on TV, but you can hear the match live Saturday night starting at 6:30 right here on San Diego Sports 760, your home for SDFC. We got a 4-pack of Dierks Bentley tickets coming up for you in just about 6 minutes, I would say. So don't go anywhere if you want to see Dierks out in Chula Vista coming up on June 19th. All right, the betting public is always kind of an indicator for me of where a series is going to go. Usually the public is wrong. And we got the NBA Finals getting going tonight. Public is all over the Pacers.
Well, that makes sense. It's because of the value.
For sure. They're like, what, 5-1 underdogs heading into this series?
To bet on the Thunder to win. You have to bet $750 to win one. To win 100. The only value you can have betting these series are the amount of games. So if you think the Thunder are going to sweep, there's value there. If you 5 games, 6 games, there's been some fun bets on like the Pacers plus 2.5 to in the series, which is about even. So Vegas is telling us they think Thunder in 6. That was my prediction as well. I think the Pacers are too good to not get a couple games, but it just feels, I don't know. The last 17-3, the last 20 NBA finals openers, the home team has won and covered the spread 17 of the last 20 years.
9.5 points tonight.
9.5 points. There's just something different about this finals. Even though Oklahoma City is a great team, and on paper they play excellent defense and they blow everyone out of the water. They have the highest point differential, 12.9 of anyone in the regular season, and it's not even close the last few years. But I think there's something to the fact that this team hasn't been here either. And even though we think that they can do this, this is not like they're playing the Warriors with KD or the Lakers coming off the three-peat in the early 2000s, or the Spurs who have been here before. They know how to handle themselves. They know all the stuff. The Pacers are playing with house money. No one expects them to win. They've said that themselves. No one's picking them. The Pacers are not going to just roll over and die in this series.
I don't think so either, man. They got a lot of fun storylines backing them. I love the fact that they are the team that everyone's been looking at through the entire postseason as, yeah, but they're not going to get past this one. Yeah, but they're not going to get past the Knicks. The Pacers are fun, and Tyrese Halliburton's a fun story too. So according to sportsoddeshistory.com, this is the steepest odds for the full series, the 5-1 favored Oklahoma City Thunder. It is the steepest odds in any final series since the 2004 NBA championship between the Detroit Pistons and the Los Angeles Lakers. How'd that one go, Sammy?
Not too well for us.
Was that the Ben Wallace Pistons?
The 2003, that one, they're trying to go for the 4P and that didn't work out.
It didn't. But we'll see what happens coming up here tonight. I'm actually excited for this series. I do think the NBA is pissed that this is the result they have. But at this point, you got to start worrying about personalities. You got to start really focusing on getting as much out about Tyrese Halliburton as you can, about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander as you can. I would highlight the hell out of Lou Dort. He is the anti-NBA player. He's awesome, man. He works his ass off. He plays defense like nobody's business. So I think it is going to be a fun series. I think the spread is way too big personally, but hell, Vegas knows a lot more about this stuff than I do. Texts have been hot and heavy today, and we love every single one of them. So if you got advice for Sammy on Vegas, maybe places to eat, I don't know, what's your price range for a Vegas dinner?
It's Vegas. If we come back broke, we'll just work at the radio station for the next 40 years, hopefully.
That's what I do. It seems to be working out okay. But I got a great place for you inside the Venetian.
Yes, I love the Venetian.
Venetian's a cool spot, man. But there's a restaurant kind of hidden away in the Venetian called Yardbird, where I've now gone on every Vegas trip. We make sure to go there for dinner.
What kind of food we got there?
Steak.
See, there's a dinner.
I get the steak frites, which is a New York strip.
It's like
slight.
Okay,
and then with potato shavings. Oh.
We got to try that burger you were talking about yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Apparently Swagyu up in Poway has the best burger in the world. We'll see if that's true. I'll put that to the test in a heartbeat.
We just got real quick, not kind of breaking news out of the NBA. The Knicks try to trade for KD per Shams. They made an offer for Durant at the trade deadline. So
is that a hint about 2025 maybe?
Kevin Durant on his way to New York maybe, trying to go in the offseason?
Man, if Brooklyn doesn't hate him enough already, they'll hate him more. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. Quick break here. Dierks Bentley tickets on the line for you right now. 4-pack of tickets to see him out in Chula Vista coming up on June 19th out at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. I've seen Dierks there 3 times. I've seen Dierks elsewhere twice. The dude puts on a hell of a show. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com, but give us a call right now, 877-767-4760. If you want to go see Dierks Bentley out in Chula Vista. You're listening to San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey, it's Fletch for Gary Cooper at Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty. Been telling you that Gary and I have been buddies for a while now, and I think we proved it a little bit this weekend. We went out to lunch, and while we're sitting there with Gary and his beautiful wife, Karina, they are telling me all of the places that I have failed as a San Diegan, everywhere I haven't gone yet. And so Gary Cooper here right now, I always tell you, why trust someone out of market with the biggest investment of your life? Well, Gary Cooper, the true San Diegan, is here today. Thank you, Gary.
Hey, I had a good time hanging with you guys. And yeah, I was born and raised here in San Diego. I went to Franklin Elementary, Wilson Junior High, and yes, I went to Hoover, and I bleed the red and black, and I also went to San Diego State. And so that's why I'm such a big Aztec fan. But yeah, there's places like El Indio, Nicolosi. I can give you so many cool places that as a San Diegan, you got to know. You just got to know.
And in the middle of all that, Gary can help you buy a house or sell a house or refinance your loan. Give Gary Cooper a call today, 858-376-1299. Visit him online at mountaintrustmortgage.com.
This sport is sponsored by WhatsApp. Manny Machado just hit a 2-run shot in the top of the third inning to give the Padres a 2-0 lead. Robbie Ray is currently at a 59 pitch count there. Look, Padres looking to win the series in San Francisco, and then the NBA Finals going tonight at 5:00. Oklahoma City 9.5-point favorites heading into Game 1. A 5:30, excuse me. The point total will be at 230.5. The Thunder are -750 to win the series outright. On WhatsApp, your personal messages stay private. So things like those selfies from last weekend's party stay between you and your bestie, because on WhatsApp, your personal messages are yours. No one else can see or hear them, not even them. WhatsApp, message privately with everyone.
Shout out Tommy. He just won those Dirks Bentley tickets. Sammy had a little combo with him. You were giggling a lot in there. What was up with Tommy?
Tommy was the man, dude. He was excited for those tickets. I was happy to give it to him.
I can't wait for that show, man. Dirks Bentley puts on a hell of a show out in Chula. That's coming up in June. If you want to win tickets to that, coming up tomorrow, we will have some more. Sammy just let you know, Padres took a 2-0 lead over the Giants here. They did it by way of a Manny Machado 2-run home run out to left field up in San Francisco. Luis Ariz was on base, and that's pretty cool for Mr. Manny Machado, because that puts him at 350 career home runs. Only 102 Major League Baseball players have ever reached to 350. So that Hall of Fame resume for Manny Machado just keeps on chugging along. It was a nice home run too, man. Did we not say this yesterday, Sammy? We kind of called it. Manny Machado's about to go on a tear. He's starting to square the ball up a little bit, making good contact. Expect a bunch of home runs this month.
Right. Well, him and Fernando, that was a good sign about last night. So
Yeah.
Fernando's starting to heat up. If those two can get it going, we could be seeing the 14-3 team that started again.
So Gavin Sheets hits a triple last night into that triples alley out there, which is like McCovey Cove is the water behind the Giants ballpark. But in triples alley, it's where they have the big wall in right field, and then it kind of stretches into center. And that's where Gavin Sheets, who's not a very fast runner, hit his triple last night. Fernando missed a triple, which might have been an inside the park with his home run or with his speed, by about a foot. It was a really, really nice play by the Giants center fielder, Jung-Hoo Lee. But Fernando missed a no doubter. I mean, at least a triple, maybe even an inside the park home run by about a foot last night. But he was hitting the ball well, squaring it up. So maybe the Padres, their two biggest offensive superstars, are starting to put things together a little bit. And now you just need the rest to come along. Jackson Merrill still doesn't look quite right at the plate, even though he is riding a little bit of a hitting streak right now. Luis Arise is starting to come back to form as well. I thought he had a hit last night to tie everything up, but it ended up falling into the glove of the Giants right fielder. And then Xander Bogaerts, I don't even know if we need to talk about him. He actually got a little banged up yesterday.
Yeah, it's the same shoulder that hurt him last year.
Yeah.
So that's the last thing that
I don't even want to say this out loud, but are the Padres better off?
I mean, you don't want to see anyone hurt. I hope the guy's okay.
Never.
But I mean, I think we'd all know the answer to that question.
It's the quiet part out loud. So we said it. Oops.
So Fletch let his intrusive thoughts win.
I really did. That might have been a mistake. All right, it is San Diego Sports 760. If you missed the breaking news of the day, Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers are expected to sign a contract, a 1-year deal coming up tomorrow. I do like this move for the Steelers. It was we knew this was going to happen. It was just a matter of time. But Aaron Rodgers going to Pittsburgh, now that it feels a little more real, I love the fact that the NFL schedule makers were sitting down and chose violence for week 1 and putting him against the Jets right away. I do hope the Jets win that game with Justin Fields balling out against Aaron Rodgers.
4-2. He started 4-0. Like, everyone acts like Justin Fields sucks. Like, he's a decent player that with the right group of guys could be really good.
That was our guy. We had that conversation a couple weeks ago where we were talking about quarterbacks who you expect to see a change in narrative about. I said Justin Fields. Like, Justin Fields is not a bad quarterback. He's been in some bad situations. All the excuses that we make for Caleb Williams a year ago about the offensive line in Chicago, Justin Fields might have had it worse than Caleb Williams had it. And he was just doing what he could in Chicago. And then he was pretty good in Pittsburgh. He's not the best thrower of the football, but no one's asking him to. He's a great athlete. So if he can do that in New York, I'm excited to see what he can do out there in week 1. Jets, Steelers, that might be the most can't miss game of week 1.
Is Justin Fields your Sam Darnold, that your breakout?
So. I really do think so. Like, when you're talking about the opportunity to do so, it'd be between him and Bryce Young, guys who haven't shown it yet, but I think have something.
I like both of those picks. Bryce Young, certainly. The problem with like Bryce Young is the organization. It's not Bryce Young's talent. We saw Bryce Young win a ton in college at Alabama. I mean, he was an absolute stud. He was a 5-star recruit, was going to USC. Nick Saban poached him. I mean, you saw it change at the Chiefs game last year. He lit up the Chiefs defense. They lost 30-27. And then ever since then, remember they hit that throw to beat, they were about to beat the Eagles and Leggett dropped the wide open touchdown in the back. Like, Bryce Young was showing that talent. I think Justin Fields, you see the talent at times. The problem with Justin Fields is that horrible coaching. So hopefully for him, Aaron Glenn changes that. Again, defensive guy, but I do think Aaron Glenn brings a good mentality. I already like kind of what he did talking about Rodgers. Rodgers went on McAfee blasting him. This isn't how you handle stuff. No, Aaron Glenn just didn't want to deal with your crap all the time, and just got him out of town. What was Rodgers saying? Something about how they called him to New York just to fire him. It's like, yeah, well, it
might not be how you deal with people, but it might be how you deal with Aaron Rodgers.
It's like Aaron Rodgers doesn't have the same courtesy about other people.
Correct.
But then when it happens to him, it's a problem. I think both those guys are good options. I think Kyler Murray could be a real breakout this year.
I think Kyler Murray, for fantasy football purposes, is about as good as you can do heading into this next season, because we sort of see it with the Josh Allen and the Patrick Mahomes. It's like they have a couple years of ridiculous fantasy production, but then once they get paid, things start to trickle down a little bit, because all of a sudden Tyreek Hill's not on your team anymore. Stephon Diggs isn't on your team anymore. And so you switch to a little bit more run heavy. Patrick Mahomes had far fewer passing attempts a year ago than he had in the first few years of his career. Same with Josh Allen. I expect this year it's going to be Kyler Murray show in fantasy football.
Who has more pressure, in your opinion? I thought of it this morning, to make the playoffs: Caleb Williams or Justin Herbert?
Herbert. Caleb Williams still has about a 2 to 3 year grace period.
Really?
I think. I think at least one season with the brand new coaching staff, everything being installed this year. I know you think the Bears are somehow going worst to first in their division. I don't see it happening at all. Maybe an 8-win team, maybe 9.
The thing with, and I think Caleb's going to be really good. I really think he's going to be the quarterback that we all thought he was going to be.
The Chargers should have Super Bowl aspirations this year.
They should. On paper, well, I think the defense is going to regress a little bit. But yes, they are a very solid team. They're definitely behind the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens, the Bengals. But in that next category, I think you can make an argument for the Chargers. Problem with Chargers is this. It feels like people blast Trevor Lawrence. Rightfully so. Trevor Lawrence hasn't really lived up to that number 1 overall pick that we saw. But early on, let's not forget, this guy came back against the Chargers, took it to the Chiefs in Arrowhead, almost won that game, the divisional round. He's had some really good seasons, and I think has had to deal with some ineptitude from Shad Khan and overpaying guys like that. Herbert went from this guy, Herbert, was talked about for a minute there of, is he in the Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Burrow conversation? Because he was lighting everyone up. It was kind of thought that the rivalry now is Allen and Mahomes. It's kind of thought that Herbert and Mahomes was going to be that for a little while. Herbert's kind of evaded all this. Staley was a terrible head coach, was going for it on his own 20-yard line, so we kind of evaded it there. Harbaugh comes in last year. You don't have the weapons, so he evades it there. This team is ready to go. But then Caleb Williams, the Bears are loaded. Like, Ben Johnson is a great head coach. They figured out the offensive line.
Never seen him as a head coach before.
But theoretically, offensively, should be a good head coach. Offensive, defensive lines have been changed. You have all the weapons. Both those guys, I think, really need to make an imprint and make the playoffs for this season.
By the way, we are 90 days away from the beginning of the NFL season. I was talking to a buddy today who wants to try to go to either London or Madrid for one of the games.
Really?
I don't know if I could swing that. But he was like, "Oh, it'll be great content for your show." And I'd be like, "Yeah, but I'll be missing the show to go to London or Madrid for. You don't just go for a weekend."
So he wants to just set up shop and do the show from there.
No, he said we should just go and take a vacation in the middle of the football season. That's not really.
858 has a problem with me saying the Chargers are behind the Bengals and what universe? I think
the Chargers are behind the Bengals.
I think there's an argument there, but Joe Burrow has gone to a Super Bowl. This is a guy, the one guy who has actually gone into Kansas City and beaten Patrick Mahomes besides Tom Brady is Joe Burrow. So it's hard for me to put a guy, and I like Justin Herbert. I'm probably a bigger Justin Herbert fan than a lot of people are, but I mean, he hasn't even won a playoff game. He's appeared in one. The Bengals, I get it. The defense is atrocious, but that offense should be lethal. The Chargers, I don't know. Like, the Chargers felt like they were ready to springboard.
Chargers won 11 games last year. They had a nice season.
Easy schedule, nice season. But then the Broncos got better. The defense with Greenlaw and Hufanga, and I think the Broncos are really ready to pop.
The Raiders didn't get worse this last offseason.
They're going to be better. They got Bowers and Pete Carroll's going to be in there. They're not going to be great, but they're going to beat someone good at the end of the year.
There's a video of Pete Carroll this morning trying to block some defensive linemen for the Raiders. He put gloves on and everything. He's 73 years old.
My problem with the Chargers is, like, why wasn't Devontae Adams on the thing? Because he clearly wanted to come to Los Angeles. You needed another receiver. The fact that you hit on Ladd McConkey was fantastic for the Chargers, but your only solving is to get a Mike Williams who looks like he's kind of washed the last couple of years with the Jets and the Steelers. You're betting that this kid Trey Harris out of Ole Miss is going to be a superstar like Ladd McConkey was last year.
If we're talking Chargers and Bengals, the argument for the Cincinnati Bengals begins and ends with Joe Burrow and the fact that their defense cannot possibly be as bad as it was a year ago. But it is the Cincinnati Bengals, so maybe they surprise us and the defense is as bad as it was a year ago. That offense was one of the best offenses in football, and there's absolutely no denying it. And so another year, Joe Burrow getting better. If he stays healthy, this Bengals team is as much a threat as absolutely anybody, especially in one-and-done situations in the postseason. Chargers, what have we seen from them to expect anything past the first round of the postseason? The answer is we have never seen them do anything close to winning a Super Bowl. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. We're going to take our final break of the day. When we come back, we're going to get you ready for John and Jim, keep you updated on the Padres game. They are in a little bit of trouble here in the third inning, and we'll keep you updated on what you need to know from there. Manny Machado hitting his 350th career home run. Good for him, joining a list of just 102 other names all time in baseball history who have reached 350 home runs. How far can that number go in a San Diego Padres uniform? We'll talk about it coming up next. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760. Our iHeartRadio Music Festival is back, and you can win your way in before you can buy them. Just listen to this station at 9 a.m., 1 p.m., and 5 p.m. You win tickets to the September 19th and 20th shows at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, plus airfare, hotel accommodations in Las Vegas, and $1,000 spending cash. That is a pretty damn good prize. All right, we told you Manny Machado hit his 350th career home run just about 20 minutes ago now. The Giants have since taken back the lead with a 3-run bottom of the third inning. But Manny Machado at 350, that is pretty damn impressive. And what I will tell you, Sammy, you ready for some trivia?
Let's do it.
What I will tell you, there are 4 active players in Major League Baseball who have more home runs than Manny Machado. I'd be impressed if you could name 3.
Okay.
Shall we? Text line, jump in on this too. 70470. Start your message with team. We got about 5 minutes left in the show. Active players in today's Major League Baseball who have more home runs than 350, which is Manny Machado's number. None of the names are that surprising, but they would take me a while to get.
I'm going to go with Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, he's one of them. 352.
My first thought was Schwarber, but no.
He's in the 300s, but he's not there.
Is Schwarber's teammate on this? Is that a yes?
Are you talking about Bryce Harper?
Yeah.
No, it is not. He's just below Manny Machado. But that was a good thought because they've been in the league very similar amounts of time. I think they were in the same draft
Pete
class.
Alonso's too young. Not Soto.
Mm-mm. One of the dudes has been an NL West menace for decades. Not decades, decade and a half.
Decade and a half. Why am I blanking right now? We named Freddie Freeman.
NL West menace.
NL
has
West
destroyed every team in the NL
Rockies.
West.
The Diamond.
He's no longer in the NL West, but he was on the Diamondbacks forever.
JD Martinez.
No, Paul Goldschmidt.
Oh, okay.
Paul Goldschmidt's at 368. One of the names people put him in the GOAT conversation. I mean, he's injured all the time, but the dude hits a ton of home runs.
Who?
Mike Trout.
Oh, duh.
Mike Trout has 388, and then there's one more name on the list. He plays in New York.
Judge.
No, the other one.
Stanton.
Stanton. He's actually the active leader. 429 career home runs. Most of those with Miami.
I should have guessed Stanton. Yeah.
Stanton and Trout were the two I thought you'd get right off the bat. Goldschmidt was always going to be tricky.
I forget this Trout still,
Freeman surprised me. I did not know Freeman had that many home runs.
Because I thought Ohtani at first, but he's too young to do that. Because it wouldn't have been Mookie. So Freddie, that makes sense. All right. So so he's 5 on the list. What's the next tier?
Nolan Arenado is at 347. Bryce Harper's at 345. Aaron Judge is at 336. So he's going to start leapfrogging some of these guys. McCutcheon's at 324.
Okay. I thought about McCutcheon for a second.
He would have come up on my list because that dude's just been great for a long time. Schwarber at 303. And then you got to go. Marcell Ozuna at 285. Mookie Betts 279. Like, we're in a pretty good era of home run hitters here, but you think about where Manny Machado is right now and who he's about to pass. He is within striking distance of Yogi Berra, Joe DiMaggio, Todd Helton, like some legends of the game. He is not that far away from, and he's going to start passing these guys. Johnny Bench is within 30 home runs of him. So Manny Machado, by the time this contract is done with the Padres, there's a chance he is passing the greatest baseball players of all time if he continues at the pace he's at right now. Which is pretty cool to see that being done in a Padres uniform. He already has the most home runs in Padres history. He accomplished that. Was it the end of last season or the beginning of this year? I can't remember. But Manny Machado on his way into the Hall of Fame with just history being made in a San Diego Padres uniform. Pretty cool.
Yeah, and this is a big game for the Padres considering the Dodgers are really struggling right now. They got blasted yesterday. Pete Alonso ripped them for 2 home runs and then hit them again. They're actually losing 3-0 right now. And bases are loaded for the Mets. So, like, at some point, the Padres can start cashing in on some of these Dodger losses with wins. It would be a real shame for the Padres to tie this series. Considering how you started the series against the Giants with Kolek and Berger, if you would have said the Padres go 2-0 in that sense, it feels like sometimes a lack of focus thing. It's like they're up big yesterday, and you got Pavetta going, who's kind of becoming an ace for you, and then you lose it. Kind of like last week, the Marlins, massive comeback, and the next day you blow it after being up 6 runs. So I feel like it's an important game for the Padres, and they're down 3-2 right now.
The first 2 innings for Dylan Cease were really, really good. Dylan Cease was able to kind of use that slider of his, hitting the outside zone against lefties, hitting or outside zone against righties, inside zone against lefties, excuse me. And now the third inning, he just lost control of the slider a little bit. Hung one. He had the bases loaded with 1 out, only got out of there with giving up 3 runs. I know you say only, that's a little confusing, but it could have gotten a lot worse. So hopefully Dylan Cease is able to kind of get things back here in the 4th inning. Padres currently trailing 3-2. John and Jim will keep you updated on that all show long. Tomorrow, we got another opportunity for you to win Dierks Bentley tickets. Tomorrow, we got another opportunity for you to win a 4-pack of Fair tickets. We actually have a special guest coming in studio with us tomorrow in the 12 o'clock hour. And then at 1:30, everyone's favorite time of the week, Steve Hartman. Steve is going to be joining the show with updates.
We got to ask him how date night went this week.
Everything that's going on. And Jim Russell's staring at me. I think he's trying to intimidate, trying to tell us to get out.
Jim Russell can't intimidate anyone.
I'm going to kick my feet up. We're going to stay a little longer.
Yeah. Jim.
John and Jim coming up next. It's San Diego Sports 760. Thank you for being here.